Good morning. Global warming is caused by human activities and in real economic conditions in communities. Most communities are not organized well to act on climate science, and they seem to be ignoring it, but there's nothing very much that's available for people to do except keep going. And people openly acknowledge the facts, and just as we ignored slavery and other effects of child labor and tobacco in previous ages, um, we simply change the cognitive channel and continue on our lives because what can we do? Nevertheless, we pay the cost of unsustainable emission producing activities and other effects on quality of life, and tension grows in the community and opposition to development mounts. So now, in our age, developers use very sophisticated software to frame their projects as green when they're anything but or very limited, not enough. And opponents of these projects are at a disadvantage to influence and change and insist on more sustainable practices. Um, and they lack the same expertise as the developers, and they certainly lack the funding. And they can't use the same technology that developers have. The main problem is that public consensus involves the a certain a great degree of transparency, and uh, the an inclusion and informed consent is a difficult and uh, it's a process that requires planning and action that is the community is not really set up to do. So, coordinated action networks is a technology that communities can use to uh, basically make sure that that development in their communities is sustainable. A residential tower on the beach, or pardon me, or a data center in a park can be addressed by the community with some clout if the community consensus is available. When so the coordinated action network is a technology that provides for this, and it's a database center community coordination infrastructure that supports transparency, inclusion, and management of negotiations, commitments, and livability goals. So the workflows are durable. In other words, the database that contains all the information about who people are and what they voted on, what they didn't, is also contains the application state, and everything that happens within that is durable and recoverable, and the community can act in ways that currently it cannot. CAN software integrates the community consensus about locally specific climate criteria in decisions about resources, commitments, projects, and development. Basically, the social media approach to community activism fails because a conversation is not enough, and a chat thread isn't enough, and a social media group isn't enough. Um, so what we need is a community technology that is inclusive, that in fact provides the resources necessary for the community to coalesce and for people to feel and be responsible about decisions. Can the community or action network feels familiar and friendly, as with the bells and whistles typical for users people are used to, but it's not just a chatbot or an AI wrapper. It's inclusive participation in a workflow system for consensus, and it uses AI to help structure all the multiple streams of differing opinions and input, and identifying records and patterns of agreement and disagreement. And globally, um, the networks can surface patterns of alignment between communities anywhere in the world. discussion, essentially the workflow is that discussion becomes structured input becomes polling produces verifiable consensus initiates commitments, or commitments mobilize resources can become projects, and projects produce measurable outcomes, a guiding voice for the community's future, for instance, or a limitation on emission production within the community. CAN has many qualities that feel like the community itself because the community is involved in launching the app. But while it maintains a durable, auditable, locally governed community record, it includes all the community members, roles, priorities, proposals, evidence, polls, commitments, resources, funding, projects, and the results. And anything is possible with this technology if the people will it. And again, nothing if is possible unless they do. It's it's democratic, period. We are asking MIT and technology companies, pardon me, and international NGOs to help us finish the technical integrations, deploy the platform in 2 pilots, execute the pilots, and train local support teams in both of those communities to hand CAN over to the communities. We propose to launch CAN in adjacent coastal communities of Playas de Tijuana in Baja California and Point Loma in San Diego. They have common history, different languages, interrelated economies, and cultural qualities, and similar concerns of water stress, development pressure, no public transit network, and anticipating climate effects. However, we believe that one size fits none. In fact, one size fits none. Community Action Network is adapted for each community by and with the community, while technical compatibility of the networks supports global coordination without central control. That sums it up.